Oh, how sweet it is to be seeing that little new episode icon on Apple or Spotify
Or Meaningful Minute.
or our Meaningful Minute app. And then you click on it and you realize it's you. It's us. And then I don't listen to the episode because it's us. Can someone else please start a Meaningful People podcast so I can listen to it without our voices?
I cringe whenever. Fun fact: I cringe whenever I hear my voice on. Meaningful
I don't.
People.
Are you one of those people that listens to your own voice notes?
Yeah, totally.
Terrible.
I listened on 2X. But this week we have the only 8th day with their real names.
Shmuel and Bentzi Marcus.
Yes.
Coming from California, sunny California.
Snowy New York.
They are awesome. They are really, really fun. They came in like walking up the steps, like singing a tune, and they were like hopping. So the energy they give over is awesome.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, and they are deep fellows. They really, really.
That was the word I was looking for in last week's outro. Deep. That was good.
You were looking for the word deep?
I wasn't
sure. You
sure.
don't have that word in your like back pocket?
No, like I was using the word insightful, but like I think deep is the better word.
Wow.
I feel
like a lot of people would have something to say about that.
Probably.
You couldn't locate the word deep, Yaakov?
Yeah. That's true. But 8th day, you know what I love?
Shout out to Doc Selinger.
I love the song.
Chief Rockway.
I don't think he's alive anymore. He's our English teacher. Not at the same time. We're a few years apart.
I never had
but
Doc.
You never had Doc?
Nope.
Really?
I missed him.
He left after.
I just never had Doc.
This is a good Yeshiva Rockaway.
Hack.
Wow, I did not realize he left after.
I had the guy with the mustache and the scarf.
Mr. Strite.
Mr. Strite.
Which I saw him in Florida a few years ago in the zoo. Really nice guy. He was with his family.
Oh,
yeah, he was with his family.
He was in the zoo. Okay.
Yeah, this is so niche. Either way, guys, enjoy this episode with 8th Day. Welcome to the Meaningful People podcast, the podcast where we talk to people who are
meaningful.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We are joined by the Holy Brothers from 8th Day. It's really a pleasure to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in from LA, especially for us.
Thank you for calling us Holy Brothers. That's beautiful.
Of course. Listen,
are there unholy brothers from the family that... Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so.
Nah, he canceled.
No.
Wait, hold on.
Anytime you're featured by like, thank you Hashem, you're a holy brother. You're a holy brother, right? That's how it works?
Wow.
No?
Yeah, very nice.
Who's older from you two? Do you get that a lot? Do people ask that? Like,
yeah, actually, yeah. That's the number one asked question.
Really?
Yeah, I would say so.
What's the second to most asked question?
Are you really brothers?
Okay, that's fair. Are you guys really brothers?
Yep, we are.
No, I just wanted to ask. I knew that, so I just wanted to ask. How many kids are in your family?
Kenai 10 in all.
Wow. So what numbers are you guys?
I think you're 5. You're
I'm 4.
You're 4. I'm the 7th.
Wow. Okay, cool. And is it we'll get into like 8th day. I'm thinking if I should ask the question now. Like, is it Yeah, you know what?
We have a sister who's the 8th child, and she says she's the real 8th day.
Really?
That's Razel, yeah.
Okay, so we'll get into like how it started, but like tell us a little
Razel
about
getting an early shout out.
Your childhood being in a house of 10. What was that like?
It was a blast.
It wasn't always a house of 10. It started with
That's
1.
True.
Then it was 2.
Yeah.
Then
Well, by the time I came around,
yeah,
it was
but
already,
most of them were in yeshiva already.
Yeah.
We don't know our older brother. Zalman something, we haven't seen him. You know, growing up, he wasn't home. You know, any big families like that, you know?
Right, that's fair.
So,
and your parents did shlichus?
Yeah.
So where do you guys live?
So we started out in Miami, but then when I was a kid, you were probably a little
Also
older.
a kid.
Yeah, you were also a kid. We moved to California, Orange County.
Must have been so hard from Miami to
yeah,
California.
yeah. And that's where we grew up, in Southern California, Chabad Shluchim.
Spoiled. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
With your upbringing, did you guys think like, oh, of course I'm going to be a shliach also when I get older?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
what are you both? One of you are in shlichus, okay, but you're not in shlichus. I mean, he's pointing like pointing.
The music is the shlichus.
Nice.
And in Chabad, it's so trained to be, just in that mode. Right. So it's almost, it's just a part of your life. Yeah, I didn't become an official shliach, but
Every yid is a shliach. What you're doing
That's
is
right.
shlichus.
Yeah,
And that's,
yeah.
It's true.
Avada.
That's what the Rebbe said. Every yid is a shliach of Hashem to make the world a better place. So can't opt out.
Do you guys? Okay, so you grew up together. Do you live near each other now? Because you're
half hour.
Oh, okay, you're both living in California,
Yeah.
right? That's what Nachi said. Okay, cool. So my burning question for this interview is like why you name it Eighth Day, but we'll get to that. But like, how did the formation of your band begin?
So, very musical family, for starters. You guys know our Uncle Avram Fried.
You guys had Avram Fried on the
Of
show?
course.
Not yet,
You didn't
no.
have Avram
Benny,
Fried?
Benny.
No,
Oh, yeah,
could you guys
Benny.
get us
Right.
Avram?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Should I call him right now?
Like on air? I don't know.
I don't know if
I
you do
wanna
that. I don't want to do that.
Right,
to him.
right. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. After,
But his son
after.
just went on shluchas.
Really?
Yeah, how cool is that?
Where to?
California.
Cool.
Yeah, San Diego.
In my
Really-
head,
really
by the way,
roughing it
because
there
I'm a
in
non-Chabad,
San
like
Diego.
when someone says shlichus, I'm like, oh, they're in the heart of Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, San Diego.
You know what?
Right.
You're not that off. It doesn't
Really?
matter. If you're the only from person living in Cancun, it feels like the heart of Ukraine.
Right.
It's cool for the first 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, but after year 12, and you're educating your kids, and you're trying to get kosher food, it's not Cancun anymore.
Right.
So any shliach who's not in a community like this with 8 restaurants out your door here and 12 shuls and you're the only from person in your town. It's tough. It's a tough gig.
That's not easy.
Did
Yeah.
you feel that growing up, being a family of from shluchim? Like, did you feel like
I think in hindsight, maybe.
We didn't know at the time.
Yeah, well, growing up, we felt it was just normal.
Yeah.
Only from people in our town.
Mm-hmm.
There was no other from families at all, at least when we moved there.
All of Bentzi's friends,
Yeah. Yeah.
growing up,
Yeah.
they're not what would you say? They're not what you would call classical from people.
Yeah.
They're just,
Traditional, you're saying?
Yeah.
traditional.
Yeah, like traditional. Yeah, not so religious.
Right.
And
Not Shomer Shabbos, right?
Right.
that must be a struggle for, I guess, kids of shluchim in general, growing up around, I guess, not, I want to say negative influence, but certainly not like a positive influence of people aren't from and they're not living a similar lifestyle than you're living. It's really like a broader conversation about kids of shluchim.
So that's
that's
where. So you're taught. That's where you're really infused to influence your surroundings rather than be influenced by your surroundings. It's really instilled from a very young age. We were. I mean, getting back to how the band started. It started out singing for our fathers, Purim parties, or singing at a local old age home or something. Like right away you're pushed into the spotlight to influence in a good way, and it's a beautiful thing.
And it just happened, like, meaning, okay, you're singing by Purim party, and then the next
So
year
no,
you're
so
by
we're
a
right.
concert?
So I would say probably around like high school, I started really getting into music. As more like we always were singing in the house, like Shabbos, sitting around the table, we'd always sing and harmonize and everything. My mother was always playing music in the house. But probably around high school, I got really into playing music and writing music, and Shmuel was writing lyrics and poetry or whatever. And probably around then, we sort of by accident started a band. Never meant to. It was just like, hey, this is nice. We're writing some nice lyrics and tunes or whatever. But so music was always around, and then like organically as we got older, the band thing kind of popped up.
Was there like sort of like, oh, of course this is gonna happen? You come from a very rich family in the music world. Was this like, okay, obviously we're gonna go down this path, or not at all?
Not at all.
You're both shaking your head.
Not at all.
No. It's very different today than it was, I guess, when we were kids. When we were kids, it was MBD and Avram Fried. That's it. Because the equipment to do this sort of thing you're doing right now, you have to go to a studio, so expensive.
Right.
Nobody could just knock out an album in their house. And
Right.
so if you didn't have the big money for it, you couldn't. So now anyone could just
You can
put out an
literally use your
album.
phone to put
Everyone
out an
just
album.
putting out albums every 2 days. There's new songs at 20. Everybody can do it. When we started, it wasn't like that, and that's why no one thought, oh, you're gonna be in the business. It was like for fun. We're just having fun. It was just that's it. So we actually made a demo. Can't even call it a demo. It was actually a Chalamoid trip for our family. We're going to go, instead of going to Disneyland, we're going to go to the studio and see what it's like and make a song, you know.
That's like an innovative Chalamoid
It was
trip.
a Chalamoid trip. And then the song got out, bootleg. You know, it went what you would call viral in
Which
the olden
song?
days.
Which song was this?
Trachgut.
No,
Wow.
That was our first song. And
And
then
you remix it on this album you just
yeah,
put out. No,
yeah. Kind of, you see, we put in like little throwback to other songs. So that's how it all started. Was that song, I would say, and then that's it. It just there was no
Snowballed.
sit down like, okay, let's do this. Let's get into this.
It happened
We never had
organically.
that conversation.
So, at what point did the name Eighth Day come in there?
So I think when we were about to release our first album, so we did that first couple of songs, we did a couple of demos, we did another demo, then eventually we're like, oh, we have an album. So when we had to put out the album, we're like, okay, we need a name. Can't just call it. We're going like with Marcus Brothers at the time, or Hasidic Ramblers. We had all these different
Yeah.
interesting names. So yeah, we sat down and said, we got to call this something, give this a name. And Eighth Day, we just put a bunch of names in a hat, pulled one out. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we just Shmini Atzeres was a.
Who came up? It was you, someone
Me and
else.
I remember sitting with my brother
I think
Chaim.
Yossi maybe. I don't know.
Yossi maybe was involved. Yeah,
It was
our
called
other
Second
brothers.
Chamber.
Right.
The idea was to come up with a name. First of all, we didn't know anybody would even buy the album ever. So it's like a lot of these big companies, they make a name and it goes big, but they wish they would have picked something else. I'm not saying that we would have picked something else, but I don't think we understood just how powerful the number 8 was. Like reading into the depth of it, which I'm doing now. Again, kind of backtracking. But it was basically Shmini Atzeres. And that's
Really?
it. It's just the second chamber. So you have the Rebbe's room, which in Chabad, that's where you go for your Chiddush, and it's called like the Holy of Holies. You know, it's the Rebbe's room.
Yeah.
And the lobby, kind of like that area right to go in, it's called Cheder Sheni. They call it second chamber. You know, so it also sounds cool. You know, second chamber. We're trying to sound cool. Let's admit it.
But
We're
it's
trying to sound
it
cool.
was a lot of foresight, I guess. If you look back, you're like,
You can call
the
it
name is
Bentzi and Shmuley. Anybody want to buy an album by
There's a new
Bentzi
band
and
called
Shmuley?
Bentzi and Shmuley. I don't know.
Really?
If he's no, kidding. No, Eighth Day. It sounds very. It's just easy to say.
Exactly.
It's like it has a lot of depth to it. I like that. I really like that.
But if you want the depth to it, I'll
Yeah.
give you a 30-second version on it,
Give
which I
us.
just realized now.
Yeah.
The world was created in 7 days. There's like there's this natural cycle within creation, which happens every 7 days, and that's it. 7 days of creation. 8, more connected to the Creator. So even though the Creator is in creation, so the creation part of creation is kind of the number 7, and the Creator part, which kind of hovers around the 7, always, it's infusing the 7. That's the number 8. So the 8th blessing of Shemona Esrei is Rifa'enu. Healing is with the 8th. Bris happens. Identity happens, the number 8. So the more I look into it, the more interesting I become in the number 8.
I feel like Hanukkah also 8 is
Sure.
a very big number.
Yep.
I imagine this is going to be posted. We're doing this before Hanukkah. This is being posted after Hanukkah.
I see
Right.
it says on this album, I don't know if it's on a lot of albums in the Jewish world, please do not play this album on Shabbos or Yontif.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What's up with that?
I believe that was something the Rebbe
Freed.
told Avremel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To put on the albums.
Yeah.
Really?
Told him he should print it on the actual cassette or CD itself.
Have you met the
and on the
Rebbe?
cover. Sure.
Yeah. Well, what was your experience with the Rebbe like?
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you look back and be like, oh, I was too young to like really even chop
How old were
what
you
was
guys?
going on?
I was too young to understand Farbrengens for sure. The Rebbe spoke only in Yiddish, and it was sophisticated Yiddish. You know, he was talking Torah and Mefarshim and Chassidus, obviously. But getting $1, I never did Yechidus. The Rebbe stopped doing Yechidus like before I was born, probably. But even just getting $1 or being there, it's definitely unforgettable in a very deep way. But yeah, you spent some years there.
I was also very young, but aside for that, imagine your entire world Nothing else matters besides what time the Rebbe is coming down for Shacharis, what the Rebbe said on Shabbos. No, presidents could be showing up at the front door. No one's interested. What's the Rebbe saying?
Well, your
What's
whole life
happening?
was based around what the Rebbe, where he sent you guys. So that was your life. You're
Yes,
you're
yes.
a family of shluchim.
But it's
but
hard
also
to
being,
describe.
Also being in Crown Heights, like being around it.
I mean, it's hard to explain to someone who hasn't had that experience in their life what it's like to live with that. First, the excitement of getting a letter, and also what, was there a song after? What did he say? I was surprised. It wasn't supposed to be a Farbrengen. There was a Farbrengen. It was so exciting. It's like, I can't describe it.
Which of your songs, this is a weird question, but which of your songs do you think the Rebbe would appreciate the most?
Wow. That's a difficult question. You try to...
I didn't think of it until like we were talking about the Rebbe and like this.
I thought you were going to say which one of the songs was influenced by the Rebbe's
We
teaching.
could ask that
right?
too. That's
Yeah,
a little.
yeah,
we
yeah.
could-
I would say
We'll
all
buy
of
you
them.
some. We'll buy you some time to think of the answer for the other one. So
Yeah.
you can start with that one.
A lot of it. I think there's two ways of approaching a song. I would say in general, people will be like, I have this idea, and it's coffee, all right? So let's do a song about coffee. Coffee's great, wakes you up in the morning, yeah. Another one is you're not really planning to write about anything. You're just starting to write lyrics, and because you are so immersed, either in pain, so it comes out a painful song. You're so immersed in joy, so it comes out a joyful song. You start writing and just comes out what was put into you when you were a child. So we were so immersed in the yeshiva world and in Chassidus and 770 and Farbrengens. You're so immersed in it that later in life you start unpacking it. And I think that's what I'm still doing. So you ask about the Rebbe. I would say till recently, I didn't realize how intense and like genius the Rebbe's teachings are. Like on a human level, on a spiritual level, like, wow, just like, mind-blowing, which as you get older, you can start appreciating. How the Rebbe looks at a story, how he looks at a nuance, just incredible.
So to me, you sound very much like you mentioned before. Like you sound very much like a poet, but in the heart. And I don't know if Bentzi, you're also a poet. Maybe you both are, right? So I would say like it's interesting. What would you say each of your strengths, I guess, that you bring to Eighth Day?
Yeah, I mean,
The good news is we don't overlap.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
both
don't have
beards,
any
you're both
of
Jewish.
No. Besides
No, I'm
for
kidding,
the
I'm
good
kidding.
looks,
Those are very superficial.
glasses.
Yeah,
Besides for the
glasses,
good
thank you, that's
looks.
good.
But Bentzi's,
You both eat food.
I have none of Bentzi's skills.
Which are, you know what? You talk about the other. I think it's awkward to talk about oneself. Bentzi, tell me what Shmuel's strengths are. Shmuel, you tell me what Bentzi's
I'll tell you
strengths are.
exactly how it goes. So Shmuley is an idea.
It's like family therapy. Get the whole Friedman
Yes,
family in here.
And our bill, Nachi, and my bill is very little, so don't worry. It's not gonna.
Shmuley is an idea machine. You got ideas for songs, for lyrics, he's just cranking them out constantly. And obviously, a great lyricist.
Thank you.
I'll say some of your praises, not all of them. And I think I'm good at sort of corralling it, and and that's it. There's a lot of ideas. Shmuley is just a ton of ideas, creative, and I'm kind of okay, that's a chorus. That's
Right.
and Baruch Hashem, it good fit.
And Shmuel, you agree?
I would say Bentzi is an incredible musician.
Oh, thank you.
Has a great ear. He knows what a song, because songs don't start out at what the listener hears. They can go either way. You can say it quickly. You can say it slowly. I say it like it's like dressing someone. You could dress them in a 3-piece suit, or they could just be in a sports coat and how do you dress this guy? What should we do? So Bentzi knows what to do. He's like, this guy needs a sport coat. We got to do it just stripped down, just the guitar, give it that feel. Because if you do a big production on it, the song's going to lose its. If you go too fast, it loses groove. If you go
Right.
too slow, it loses energy. So who decides? So Bentzi has a great ear and producer. He does all that stuff.
I would say also writing is always a process, especially music. You guys know about this kind of stuff, writing and developing creative things.
Content.
So, right. So you always have to have that feedback, So I think we work very well and just in the lyrics and the music and the production and whatever it is. It's where we're good sounding boards for each other, and that's
Also, one of the best
key.
things that happened to me is I had the song Akiva. I don't know if you heard it. Akiva is one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
So it's about Rabbi Akiva, and I had more of a kind of a Akiva was an insurance man driving his car like any, like just a thing. And Bentzi's like, no, you got to get serious with this. This is a serious song, And then I went back, rewrote the whole song in a serious way, and it's one of my favorite songs.
Wow.
So that's kind of the
Teamwork.
that's like you need this. It's two. You're getting two. People are losing you here. They don't know what you're talking about.
Let's talk a little bit about, I guess, Yalili.
Oh, I knew it was
That
coming.
was pretty big time of your life, no? That blew up pretty large.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the first big Jewish music video.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
No,
I have
I
a-
would agree with you.
I don't think I am.
Major theory on this.
Okay. Oh,
You guys play into this also.
Okay.
That because I'm also getting into food. So Bentzi's telling me you got to think about food. I'm thinking about food now. Food, one of your best meals, is also the environment that it was at. If you were rushed and it's like, oh, you're gonna think this is really funny. Watch, but if a guy's in a rush, he's not gonna think it's funny. You got to have the right environment, and that the artist is not in control of. So, for example, if you walk into a room and the crowd's on fire, and we just did a gig, the room, you could literally just drop a can of paint that would go crazy. It's just the room was on fire. The environment was so awesome. So anything we do is going to be awesome. The flip side of that is if you do an epic performance, but the crowd's not into it, the lighting's no good, it's too cold, no good. So the environment, which we don't control, is really a major part of it. Okay? So when we came out so these are things we cannot take credit for. We came out with this music video. It was right when YouTube was becoming a thing, and it was right when every Jewish kid got his first iPad. So it was right at that time, and it just blew up. So we couldn't control that. And Israel, we were the number one watched video in Israel. They called us from Channel 10, you're the number one watched video. A lot of that we couldn't control. So that's what I say. A miracle for you guys when you came out was right when, COVID,
Pandemic,
and everybody wanted it. So
Right.
that,
I hear.
even though you do great stuff, but you need that
perfect storm.
perfect
So
storm
I
that
guess
you
that's
don't
what
control.
Hashgacha Pratis is.
Exactly.
Ultimately, just being in the right place, the right time. Hashem saying, okay.
It was a Hashgacha Pratis 100%. Because we had put out like 2 albums before that no one ever heard of.
Right.
And the first thing people said when they heard Yalili, you guys should do an album.
So you're saying like after Yalili, things really snowballed.
That was a game changer.
Really? What'd that look like?
We were basically doing small shows, Chabad houses or I don't know, local stuff, and then started getting calls from everywhere. We were just
Global.
Israel. I went to Israel. We did a show there. We did all over, But I think right away there was like that sense of like, oh, we're doing something, that's gaining traction, obviously. So right away, like the whole, like the impetus of what we were doing just like went up. First we were like, oh, this is fun. We were just, kind of relaxed. It was fun. It was nice. We were into it. So yeah, it just kind of raised the whole, like what we're doing and how much, attention it was getting. So obviously the success is beautiful and all that. Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem. It was amazing. But it also, a lot more awareness of what we were doing and, kind of the messaging that we were trying to get out. Because the whole thing started from a shliach perspective.
Right.
That's really how it started. We did not want to be in a band. I mean, we liked singing, obviously, but we didn't think it was even possible. So it was just to enhance our shlichus. It was like another way to reach people. Instead of giving a speech or instead of, giving shalach manas, you make up a song about Moses or whatever you sing, So to take that and now bring it to this level, this like shlichus mindset, that was an amazing thing.
Do you? I always think of this like, okay, Yalili. I don't know if it was your biggest song or most famous song, I should say. Do you have pressure to like keep it up, like after that? Like,
I would
I mean,
say
you
two
set the
things
bar
about
high,
that.
yeah.
I would say two things about that. Like you say, Yalili is a very successful song. Well, I'm realizing now, or in hindsight, what does it mean a successful song? That it was the number one watch YouTube in Israel, that's a successful song? Or a song that's the most often repeated in speeches, in schools? You know, two rabbis that we were talking about before, they're quoting our lyrics. So that's our song, Avraham. Are we the children? That song.
Rabbi Kalish loves that song.
Rabbi Kalish loves that song.
He sings it like every day. in
So that
Waterbury.
song is not as popular as Yalili, but is it more successful because
the impact.
The impact is more, or so what does it mean a successful song and the pressure? We talk about pressure, then the pressure starts to come. Like people can be impacted, people can actually be helped, people can change their lives. Music can help people. That's the beautiful thing about music. We didn't invent music or the power of music. You know, but you start feeling, 1 second, if I'm already doing this, and that's the sort of pressure. You know what I'm?
When
Does
did
that make sense?
when did
I
that
hear that,
happen?
but-
When did that happen though? Like when did? I think there was some point in time over the last 15 years that it said, "Well, music can really help people." Was it like that 20 years ago?
Oh,
Was it?
in the Hasidic world, we have something called a Farbrengen,
Right.
which basically is, it's not Torah study because that's a Hasidus class. So then, what is it? It's basically that time where you have the information. Everyone knows. People don't listen to your podcast because they don't know how to live a meaningful life. Okay, we all know what we need to do, but the problem is we don't feel it. You know, we have the information, but it hasn't penetrated our heart. Nagina, music, has that ability to crack open the heart for a second to allow the information in. So that's what Farbrengens are, is basically, you know, changing your behavior, you know, having the information change you. So songs can do that, which is an unbelievable thing.
I want to ask that same question before. That's very nice. I want to ask to Bentzi, like, do you have a pressure after Yalili? Like, how do you take it?
I don't think we felt pressure until people started asking us. And people said, like, "Oh, how are you going to follow that up?" We didn't. I mean,
In
we
general,
were just riding
People
the
always
wave.
say the
Don't feel
right
pressure.
things. No, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
People say
People
the
are
right
the
things.
best.
So people asked us, like, "Hey, how are you going to follow that?" We're like, "Yeah, we didn't even think about that." I think we put pressure as artists. Use that term. You always put
Loosely.
pressure on yourself to do something fresh. It's
Right.
just in your creative
Oh, for sure.
DNA. Yeah, you always want to do something fresh and something. You know, you don't want to repeat
For
yourself.
the audience or for yourself?
For yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Challenge yourself.
Yeah, you just get bored of you don't want to keep doing the same thing, obviously. So yeah, once you do something on a certain level, you want to do that, but now you want to do it better. You don't want to just repeat it. You want to, so I think there's just natural pressure on yourself to, just always create something good quality, better than what you did last time. And then people started asking us. I remember one particular person in the music biz, like a name, asked me like, "Hey, how are you going to follow that up?" And I literally said, "I didn't even thought about that. I don't know. We'll just do another song." But
Well, you
Yeah.
guys did. You followed up pretty well. You're still
The
here.
All You Got album after that? Yeah, it's not even our biggest song. So we have a song called Miracle of Light.
Yeah.
That
it's Hanukkah season. That's like
it plays the most on non-Jewish radios.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is our...
That's so interesting.
So Yalili, I don't think is playing on these non-Jewish stations, but Miracle of Light and Roland.
I
These
think,
two.
yeah, Lilia was like you mentioned that perfect storm, and it was also like I think Pomegranate just opened,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
That's
like
definitely
and you're
helpful,
like
yeah.
the heart of Flatbush.
You guys got a free pomegranate for
And
the
our
rest of your lives.
brother-
You should if you don't.
We have a brother Chaim who produced that.
that's right.
That video.
Yeah.
Talk about
And he just the producer, what would you call Larry Guterman?
Director.
The director was just perfect, like in between jobs. He was able to do there was so many perfect storms within the perfect storm,
Wow.
and that continues till today.
To
That
back
sort
it
of
up
thing.
even more, give a shout out to our good friend Eli Schwabel. Any of you guys know Eli?
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Oh,
Gotta get him on.
So
there,
we met him at a Pesach program. We still were relatively unknown, and he saw us and he was like, "Oh, these guys are cool." We hit it off. We got friendly with him, and we kept in touch. And as we were working on our next album, we sent him the Alili, and he was like, "Guys, this is a big hit." We were like, "No way!" I thought he was joking. Like, "What are you kidding us? It's not a hit." Yalili, who's gonna sing Yalili? That sounds ridiculous. And so he was doing the Ohel concert, something like
Yeah.
that. The Ohel concert, yeah. And he said, "Guys, I'm flying you in. You're gonna do Yalili with me at the Ohel concert." And we were like, no way, we're not doing that. We don't even know it. We just wrote it. It's not out
We
yet.
never performed on a real
Never
stage either.
performed, right. And he convinced us. He was like, guys, I'm telling you, I'll arrange it. I'll take care of it. And that, Ellie gets a big shout out
Wow,
for
shout out to
pushing that. Yeah.
That's really.
And we
cool.
thought he was nuts the first time we saw him. He was wearing like these red Converse.
He's definitely a funky
who's
dress.
this
He always wears
guy?
like big
Who
hats.
is
Has
this
that
guy?
opinion changed?
No, he's a great guy. Really, he's very deep, very deep. He's a
He's
songwriter,
super spiritual.
super,
Yeah.
super great guy.
We'll be right back to this episode, but first we want to talk about the people, the organization that is powering this episode, and that is Jauma.
I love it. I love saying their
I
name.
love their name.
And what's this?
Jauma.
It stands for Jewish. What does it stand for?
Of course, you got stuck at the second.
No, hold
letter.
on. A Jewish organization? I'll get it. Hold on. Everyone give us a second. Jewish Orthodox Women's Medical Association. And it's obviously run by women, but it's for men and women to listen to. They're amazing podcasts.
A few episodes that I loved part of their podcast was one of them was titled "Follow the Data, Not the Headlines."
Ooh, that was so.
In a
so
day,
good.
in a day like today, where so many things are said and you're not sure what to listen to the health professionals and kind of hear that perspective. Also, there was a topic about the adventures of pediatric sleep.
Yes, that was actually a really good one.
So your kid is giving you issues sleeping. Give a listen. Maybe you'll learn something new.
I'm just going through it. Like, I didn't get to listen to these ones yet, but Don't Worry So Much Childhood Anxiety with Dr. Michelle Conti. All That Wheezes Is Not Asthma. Health at All Sizes. A Healthier Divorce. At the time, they were discussing with COVID getting pregnant during the pandemic, which like right away people are like, wait, is this a thing? Like, what should we do? And they have the medical proof and they talk about it. And it's just the easy listen. It's not like one of these like boring, factual. That's boring. That's the sound of something boring. It's actually interesting. It's fun. And they bring in really incredible people to talk about whichever topics that they talk about. And you should please go and give them a listen. So
Yeah.
head to Spotify, Apple, or wherever you're listening to this Meaningful People podcast. You could just go and type in Jauma, that's Jowma, and you'll be able to find them.
Except if you're listening to it on the Meaningful Minute app.
That is true.
Because they are not on that app. But
Not yet?
Not yet.
Not
You
yet.
never know.
You never
But
know.
Until then,
Yes.
just search it anywhere else besides for the Meaningful Minute app.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of our episode.
So something I want to ask you, like, I think generally people like hear about artists or singers and they're like, okay, that's them, that's their identity, that's them full time. You know, I'm not gonna listen, but like the non-Jewish singers in the world, that is their full time, and they do that all the time. But when most singers you get to meet, that's not their 9 to 5. That's not what they're doing. So each of you have your own careers and other things that you do, and you balance, eighth day. So could you talk about what you do?
I didn't even
and
know that.
how you balance it.
Well-
Zalman sent me a voice note. He
Oh,
said
yeah?
that,
Shmuel is a full-time Chabad rabbi
Nice.
with a community and all,
And an editor?
and an editor of a Chabad publication.
Yeah,
That's dope.
Yeah.
yeah.
And,
Which community are you l'shliach in?
I am in Orange County, California. We got like 13 Chabads there. My dad's there. My brother Zalman's there.
That's awesome.
We got a brother Yessi's up in Northern California,
You guys really like lucked
San
out. Like
Mateo.
I have a cousin, Chaim Brook. You know Chaim.
Montana.
He's in Bozeman.
Yeah,
What? Nah, the Bozeman community is going to hate on us now.
This is not much of a Bozeman.
Are they
community.
hearing? Are they listening to this?
I hope Bozeman is great. He's doing an incredible job there.
that's great.
So you're in Orange County, in a nice place, and you're doing that, and you're editing, and you're doing eighth day. Like, how do you juggle it?
And I put on film with people.
And you put on Solana
yeah.
on people. So what's that like?
And carpool.
And I drive carpool.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot.
And
You're
I'm
bringing
into
many
cooking.
different. Like okay, you're an accountant. Okay, he does accounting. Like you're doing a lot.
A lot of responsibility, and at the same time, when you go out, you're recognized. People come over to you, and it's just you have a lot going on. How do you juggle everything? Unless
Where
it's
I
not,
live, nobody recognizes me. That's let's put it that way.
for real.
This is we don't live in a frum community.
Okay, so that's
You know,
interesting.
so that's-
Probably
that's-
keeps you humble.
Yeah, very.
Okay,
humble.
but still, there's got to be.
I ask people to put on film. They say no. It keeps me super humble.
If you do that like on Avenue J, you'd be getting filling all day on people.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You got time?
But I guess you're giving us like a look like it's not so difficult. I mean, unless it is.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
Do you find that it's one and the same?
I don't know. I've never done it differently, so I can't really speak to that. I don't know what it's like to not, be on shlichus. We grew up on that. We grew up on shlichus. You have
Right.
people over your house. You have, you run a shul on Shabbos. We grew up on that. It's like
When you're a shliach, yeah, you're never not working. Basically, like we grew up with our parents. My mother was always giving classes. People would come over at all times of the night, with like a family crisis or, or just people coming for Shabbos and people just moving into our house. You never turn it off. It's just you're always. So maybe that's part of it.
cool story when I was a kid. I don't know why I thought of this. It has nothing to do with anything.
Great.
Let's hear
My
it.
father, when I was maybe 9 years old, maybe 10 years old, I go with my dad, doesn't tell me what we're doing. We go to Dr. Shulman's house. Yeah. Dr. Shulman gives my dad a bunch of 20s in an envelope. Very nice. Then we go to someone else's house. He gives him a bunch of 20s in an envelope. And I'm just coming along for the ride. We pull up outside someone's house. My dad points 3 houses down. He says, Shmuel, put this in the mailbox, ring the bell, and run back to the car. And that's what I did. We run back. We look. The guy opens the door. I was 10 years old. You think I understood what was happening? I only realized like last week what happened. The guy was very wealthy, lost his business, and was just going down. He had no money. And he was too proud to ask for help. So the community got together and dropped it off. What does that have to do with anything?
Great story.
Yeah, it's an
But that's
awesome
like my
story.
childhood. Ringing bells and running away.
Like Ding Dong
Yeah.
Ditch was your
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with a nice version.
Envelopes of cash.
Right. No one's stomping on that. Yeah.
So that's how we grew up. We grew up in a very different world than the average from kid.
That's that's so fortunate though.
Yeah.
That's so fortunate.
And Bentzi, what about you? Meaning, I from what I understand, you do weddings.
I'm full-time music. I have a studio. I do production, other musical stuff. But yeah, only music.
Music.
All music.
No shlichus, absolutely no way.
So I say the
No,
music
like
is
this
I'm
is-
joking. I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Real Masnagget over here.
I'm totally joking. Yeah, I'm a snag. So we ask people questions, but I think there's like a few music questions that are coming to my mind that I want to ask you guys. So first off, who has been your biggest singing inspiration? Which artist?
Family aside.
Well, I don't know. I feel like
We have to say.
We don't wanna insult
contractually,
anybody.
Yeah.
yeah.
Avram Free.
Then when we asked Benny this
Benny.
question, he's like, "My uncle."
It is kind of true, obviously. Like
Yeah.
we grew up, he was, the king of Jewish music, and we have a few, like me. I would say Piamenta,
Oh yeah.
Really?
and for me, the guitar thing.
Are you guys like the
Asprey-
modern day Piamenta?
I don't think so. You
No?
don't play
So.
flute, do you?
No, not
That
well.
would be cool if you
Not
did.
yet.
Not
Harmonica?
well.
Harmonica? No.
Not well enough. No.
No, they were. I mean,
They're crazy.
Those are real rockers.
they were
those
like
guys.
musical geniuses, like virtuoso.
Right.
I went to so many bar mitzvahs of Piamenta.
Did you?
Right.
Great.
so-
yeah, they were rocking.
Yeah, yeah. When they became frum, they started doing weddings. Yeah, but I mean, they were like world class, musicians. It was not just like they played Yidishama nicely. Not knocking people who play Yidishama nicely. That's a very beautiful thing. Diaspora Yeshiva Band was
Oh,
a
yeah?
big influence. Again, the guitar for me. That I was like, wow, this is possible to do Jewish music with that energy, with that kind of punch. But yeah, all the classics. We grew up on everything: MBD, Avremel, Miami Boys Choir,
Yeah, we're
Karlbach.
totally into music. We had nothing else in our house besides music.
Right.
We had no toys as kids.
Like
We had Avram Fried's new album. That's it.
But I guess the music that you guys are involved with that you're producing is different. I think
Yeah.
everyone can agree that. Even like I was watching, probably even last night, we put on something for my daughter, 8th Day on YouTube. It was probably Celebrate or Miracle of Lights. And we were saying like, this is almost educational for our child. And we love that she gets to listen to this because it's different. It's not just flashing lights and dance moves. You guys are giving off a message. The lyrics are deep and you're actually giving something off. How do you... Was that calculated? Was that, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it a specific way that is going to be, not just singing and not just entertainment, but educating.
I
100%.
think 100%. That is our thing. Is as kids we grew up with Jewish music, obviously, and a lot of Jewish music is Tehillim, Pirkei Avos, set to music. Then at a certain point, I don't remember exactly when, I realized that that's not all music. It's not just psukim over and over in the verse and then in the chorus and you just go back. So basically, there's a melody, and instead of doing ay ay ay, you're putting didabei kulabei, like, and I don't even necessarily know what those words mean, but it didn't matter. You danced, and then there's like a certain thing that I don't remember where I read it. It says you could listen to like a song in French. You don't have to speak French, and it could make you cry, because there's something there that's not so. It's just emotional. You don't know exactly what he's saying, And then I realized you can do that in English. That there's more to just, repetitive chanting, which has its place, and we do that. L'kodamei Raneni is an anthem. It's a chant. It's good. I like that. But then there's certain things where it uses a different muscle. You're like, what? Blow smoke in the face of darkness, whatever, celebrate, why wait to celebrate? Well, what is it opens you up a different way.
It's like Avraham, you're like, it's like, it belongs in the Svarim section of Judaica stories,
Right.
It's you're giving over such a message in that song that there are yeshivas, like we mentioned, that are singing it like every day.
Give it all you got. It's one of them also. They
Right.
play that in schools. The idea of I saw someone else doing this. I don't remember exactly where, doing something else with music, lyrically. I'm like, wow, Jewish music can use that. And I think that's really what we brought to the table, so to speak.
So it's calculated. It was very much on purpose.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how does it work? Do you you have a new album, and obviously we're happy to plug it. Lucky, everyone buy it wherever
for
you
sure.
can. Farm stores.
MyFday.com.
Please.
Yes,
buy
check
as
it
many
out.
as you can.
So do you go like, okay, it's been 2 years, let's write another album, or is it like throughout whenever the last time you wrote the album till now, you're like you've just been working on music, and then you're like, oh, we have
Always writing.
always writing,
Always writing.
You're always working on another album.
unofficially.
Always have song ideas. There's always, because you're performing. We're out on the road sometime now that the world is opening back up.
Yeah, thank
Getting
God.
back out there, Baruch Hashem. Also you're just, during a sound check or during a rehearsal or, so ideas just come and, you never want to waste a good idea. So I remember backstage at Hask, I think. We were just sitting backstage, I had my acoustic, and we literally wrote 2 songs.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. She was like, I have this idea. And I forget which song it was.
I remember exactly.
You know what I'm
Really?
talking about? Yeah.
Which song?
It was about there's glamour to we were at Lincoln Center or something, right?
Right, yeah,
It's that's a big
It's you.
Yeah.
That's super cool, and you come. There's your name's on the door. This is cool. It's like wow, but then you realize, there's people that are not there with you. Your family. You didn't bring your whole family, so you left. You went traveling, so we got this Ishes Chayil type of song going. Batokom Ba'oid Laila, that whole. So there's the flip side. To any time you see a guy's name, he's doing London. Yeah, his kids are not with him.
Right.
Did you put that song out?
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Batokom Ba'oid Laila. That's a slow
Called
song.
May You Be Blessed.
May you be blessed.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting backstage.
Yeah.
We had some downtime, because you're just waiting.
You guys
Wrote
seem
a song.
You guys seem very, very cool and calm. There's
Yes.
it doesn't
like you
seem
guys
like,
are celebrities, but you're the epitome of we're not celebrities. We're
like,
just
but you're
guys.
you're very chill. Like you're about to get in front of a stage in front of a few thousand people, and you're just like, let's write a song, bro. Let's just jam. Like,
yeah.
That is true.
is that
I think
is
it
that
might be
something
the family thing.
you
I
learned
think
or
the Friedmans don't
Just-
get nervous, I think.
really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you do need to get nervous,
Like when? When would you need to get nervous?
I don't know.
Like Yom Kippur?
I guess.
Maybe?
No, we get nervous.
No. Yeah, of course we get nervous. We're faking it. I'm sweating right now.
Not so calm.
I would tell you, there's 2 types of songs and obviously more than two, but in general, there's forced creativity. Like, if you're on a deadline and you need to crank out a podcast, it's forced. And we have those songs. Sometimes Bentzi's like, yeah, we need one more song for me. I need one more song, and we do. And then there's some that just come to you. I'm pretty sure, because on my old phone, I have these like voice notes. So we left the wedding very late at night. We did this, I think it was in Malibu. I don't know. We rocked the house. We had a good feeling about it. It was like one of those where it was reciprocal. The crowd loved it. We loved it. It was a great wedding. On the way home, I don't know. I just this lucky, and I called Bentzi or something. I don't remember either recorded it. I sent it. And Benzi's like, okay, we'll do that. So that just came, after a good, nice experience. It wasn't forced. It wasn't like, lucky would be a great word to use in a song. Let's squeeze it in. There are songs that I do that. And I think the goal is that the listener should not be able to tell.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
do you think the listeners could tell which songs you guys?
No way.
No way?
No way.
And does it surprise you? Are there sometimes songs that you forced it in, but like that one takes off more than others?
I wouldn't say forced it in like it was a challenge.
But
are there
less
songs-
natural than the lucky.
Here's a
thing.
better question. Are there songs that you think are like, okay, this is going to be terrible, and it's like the best song? You know what I mean? It's
We sometimes we put out episodes. We
Right.
over 65 episodes, thank God. And there are some podcasts that after we finish, I look at Yaakov looks at me, and we're like, okay, that bombed.
exactly.
And then we put it out.
No, hold on.
And
Just to clarify, not on the
Not on the guest
Like we
side.
just think like,
Right,
okay,
afterwards,
like
yeah.
someone wants to listen. I don't know. We're very hard on
we
ourselves.
put
like
it
that.
out, and then it's just like, yo, that was the best episode I ever listened
Yeah.
to. I'm like,
And-
what?
Oh,
Right, because
Is that-
you never know what the audience.
So
Yeah,
how
they're
different
gonna
people
react.
relate to
You don't
not
different
that,
things.
not that
Yeah.
you force, but have there been songs that you're like, okay, like we're putting this out, we don't really have the highest expectations,
absolutely.
and then like that's the song.
So Yalili definitely fits into that a little bit.
Okay.
Like we felt like I remember being very excited about it for sure, but we had no like idea that it was going to be like what it was. I think Chitty Bim was like that.
Chitty Bim was on 11th hour.
Chitty Bim was
Really?
Yeah. We were like, should we put it out? We thought it was kind of. I'd say
It was-
Chitty, you say
Yeah.
Bum.
It
I'd
was
say
like
Chitty
in an
Bim,
hour.
Bum.
That song
Yeah.
was composed like in an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. It did come together quick. And we were like kind of, yeah, okay, we put it like in the back of the album, like the last song.
So there's
And it
really no
was-
way to predict, I guess. There's no way. It's just
There's no way to really predict.
Yeah.
No.
I think there's a deep message because like in life also like you just go through. I feel like a Rebbe. Like we go through like our day and you don't really.
Yaakov getting deep over
You
here.
don't really know. No, I don't know. You guys could turn the song. No, but you really don't know like which like act of chesed is really going to make a
Right,
difference in
right.
someone's life. Sometimes,
Sure.
and you don't. Sometimes you have no clue. But like it's like you look back in life and you're like, wow, didn't think that little thing that I did would be such the thing I put so much work into. Okay, but it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
There's a Frum family living in Los Angeles. Grandkids are Frum, like an entire mishpacha, okay? I'm talking about the grandparents. They became Frum, and all their kids are Frum. They asked the grandfather, why'd you become Frum? He used to live in my father's neighborhood. He says, because Rabbi Marcus, our father, told him he should become Frum. So he became Frum. So I go to my dad. I'm like, you told him to become Frum? He goes, I don't remember saying that. So it was like a flippant thing. And the guy, because it's about the environment. It's not so much about you and the artist. It's about what's going on in the listener's life. You never know. You
Right.
you say something that's meaningless to you, but it convinces the guy to become Frum. So
That's really beautiful.
incredible story.
I mean, on the flip side, that must make it very difficult to like sort of write a song and then say, no, we're not going to put this out because what if that song could have done
Right.
something for somebody? I'm sure you have a list of stuff that has never been put out. Yeah.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
some outtakes.
Maybe you should like sing
But-
one of those outtakes now, and maybe it'll hit somebody.
Right. I was thinking you should do like a show where you try out your new material and get feedback. Before
might-
we invest in this song and start tracking.
The people who hired you for that might not be too happy, but I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we won't even write or develop the song if we don't really believe in it. Like at a certain point, you're like, this is a song or it's not a song.
Right.
I'll tell you one
No.
thing. Here, pass me the cover just for a second. There is actually a song on here. I told Bentzi, I said, this one is not for the listener. As you know, artists, we're calling them artists, they do songs for their audience, but then they have to do something for themselves, you know?
Right.
So I said, this will just be for us. It's nothing to do with the audience. It's not going to be a hit. It'll be a slow song. And it's Lo Yolecha Hamlacha Ligmar. And it's a slow, it's even a waltz. It's like, no one's going to like this song. But we'll do it because for the Indian, you know, we like it. Speaks to me, you know. It's about not every song being a hit song. It's about not every swing being a home run. And the point of the song is that one day you realize nobody needed your home run. That's not how you win with the most home runs. If you had fun, if you're a good person, that's how you win. It's not just winning. So it turns out it's a hit. People like it.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking to ourselves, but it resonated with others apparently. That's pretty cool.
Is there a favorite or most meaningful fan interaction that you've had over the years that sticks out to you? I guess more than anything else.
That's a good question.
I feel like right when I asked that, there's definitely something that popped into both your minds.
No, I was gonna. It was what you said before. What you both were saying about how you never know something. You know, so I was gonna say sometimes we do a song that, like we did a song called "Stay," and what was the other one? Like, yeah, literally we thought like similar to Lo Yolecha. Lo Yolecha, I think, is, you know, the Hebrew. You know, we're quoting Pirkei Avos. Some songs we thought like this is really just for us. It's like all English, and it's you know, and it's not a hit,
Right.
but it does get some very strong. Like we'll get an email like I was very depressed and this saved my life. You know, like crazy stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that.
get
which
emails
is-
like that.
Yeah,
Which are unbelievable.
which is I don't even humbling. I don't know what the word is. Nothing to do with us. It's just, you know, you put it out there, and you know. So yeah, we've had a few of those that are like, you know, epic stuff. You have anything comes to mind?
Meaningful. We did a show. Someone came over afterwards and said that she was from, but her husband, you know, Israeli, smoked on Shabbos. You know, after our show, decided he's keeping Shabbos. We had a yarmulke song. Kids said, we heard it. We're gonna start wearing a yarmulke, which means they knew they had to wear a yarmulke before. They knew you were supposed to keep Shabbos before. We didn't. It's not educational. It's not a safer, but sometimes information and behavior, there's like this barrier, and music just opens you up for a second. You know, just for a second, and then you can change. So it's an opportunity.
Is there a favorite mitzvah that each of you have that you go towards a little more than the others, or sticks out to you as your baby?
It's an interesting question.
I asked Zalman to give you these questions. I guess he did not.
Mitzvah that I'm drawn to.
If you had to be kind of one
love-
mitzvah, one mitzvah, and you had to take that on a month journey, which one would it be?
I mean, I always say I love sukkahs.
Yeah.
I love the whole
It's gonna be a lot of baggage to carry.
the whole thing. I mean, everybody loves sukkahs, but
Eighth day of Sukkot.
yeah,
Right.
Arba
Yeah.
Minim, and you're in the sukkah, and I'll always love that. I don't know, learning, davening.
They're all good.
Obviously, Shmuel.
Does Hashem listen to this podcast? Because if he does, I like them all.
I think he
I
does.
like them all.
We've heard he
really.
does.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I think the Rambam says that there's a verse in the Torah, Nechi Hashem Elokecha, from the Ten Commandments, and then there's another verse, it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that Esav took the daughter of Yishmael, Machlas Bas, as a wife. So which are these psukim the same holiness?
That's a great
Obviously,
question.
yes.
Right.
Obviously,
Same Torah.
yes. If you're missing one letter, the whole Torah is no good. In what the Torah does, you know, this might take more than 2 minutes, so I'll back it up.
Go for it.
But there's what the Torah is and what the Torah does, right? There's like what you do, and there's who you are. So on Simchas Torah, Shmini Atzeres, you dance with the Torah when it's closed. Why? The Torah is a book. Open it up, read it. That's how you celebrate a book. No, we're not celebrating with what the Torah teaches, what the Torah could bring morals to the world, how it could enlighten the world. That's not what we're celebrating. We're celebrating what the Torah is. On Shavuos, we celebrate what the Torah says. We read it. So when it comes to a mitzvah, there's what the mitzvah does, and then there's what the mitzvah is, that it's a commandment from God. And if you're doing it, you're literally connecting to God. And in that way, every mitzvah is exactly the same, essentially. And that's the backbone of the mitzvah, is that it's God asking you to do it. Because if God didn't ask you to do it, you could wave a towel a whole day. I don't know if God's going to, he's doing a good job at that. So it's not your action that makes it so significant. It's the fact that you were asked by God to do it. So I think every mitzvah is, I think it's actually in halacha. I'm a little rusty on this, but there may be, if someone's in jail and they say you're allowed to come out and do one mitzvah, should you wait till Pesach to eat a matzah? So the halacha is you get out that second and put on tefillin and just do the mitzvah that's right there. If it's sukkah, shake a lulav,
Right.
Or if you only have enough money for one, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're saying, but I'm not a Bucky, so I don't know
Something like that.
one.
But
Yeah.
the point is,
I've heard the story of someone was in jail and
Right.
and he said the next
That's it.
day,
Exactly.
go right now.
Right, because behind every mitzvah is that it's a connection to.
There's a machlekes on like Shabbos. If you have, maybe you're referencing that to light a menorah or light Shabbos candles.
Yeah, that's just a halacha.
Oh, I thought
what you should use your money
Right.
for as far as candles go.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But
Is there a specific person in history, someone who's no longer alive, that if you get to spend an hour with them right now, today, maybe go out to dinner with them, who would it be? It could be music, it could be not music, it could be anybody.
you really ask this question to everybody?
Yeah,
We
we asked
do.
everyone. Again, we gave Zalman this before.
Right. No,
We're supposed to give it.
why would you ask that? Like, why would you ask that question?
I love that
Well,
you're questioning
why-
the question.
It's a very,
It's
it's very
hypothetical.
It's very Jewish.
It's hypothetical, but I think it's like, we just spoke to you about your life, and it's nice, and
It says a lot about you.
yeah, no,
Who you'd
When
want to
you say
spend.
who do you admire would be a better question. Who do you want to
Interesting.
spend time
No, but
with?
you
It's
know
more
what?
tangible, I think.
We always learn in the Torah about like David HaMelech, let's say, and like it's nice, but like I'm curious on like a personal level, like who do you connect with? It could be you'll say David HaMelech, it could be you'll say Albert Einstein. I don't know,
Right, I see what you're
but like
saying.
I think it's just your answer doesn't really make a difference.
Nobody's
Right.
really ever asked us why we asked that. Though.
I know. I like that you.
No, 'cause I
People asked us who we would.
You're not
it's
Machshav-
hypothetical.
Very
basically.
hypothetical.
It's very hypothetical. Okay.
But yeah, we're not
hypothetically-
gonna be like surprise.
He's
David
here.
come out.
Uh-huh.
You know?
That would
Standing at 6'4".
But like it's just a curious question. Like who?
Right.
Like right now, if Hashem says we're gonna give you one person to spend an hour with, ask them questions, connect with, who would you do it?
There's so many.
That is very.
Honestly, the question is more for you than for us. It gets you thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you should have knew.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people say like my head would explode if I
Like-
I feel like what in the world?
Hey, what am I going to talk to him about?
Right.
Exactly.
So that's
Like,
why a lot of people
so
say
you
more
read,
modern day.
You
right?
read my books. Mostly. But the Valkyrie goes quickly. I don't know. Who wrote the last three after? Okay. Uh-huh. Like tefillin are black. Moshe Sinai. Is that true? Are you gonna grill him? I mean, yeah, of course. Like, why were you scared to go to party? Huh?
Right.
No, but
Why'd you argue with Hashem at the burning bush? He said, "Go get him." You argued for a week.
I think it says a lot about people who they would answer. I think if like someone answers, well, I would spend that time with Yosef Atzadik. I think that it says like a lot about that person.
another
Like,
good
they-
one.
Usually Chabad people say the Rebbe. I'm just saying you guys don't need to say him as the answer.
But they've met him.
Should I move on to the next question, or you guys want to give it a swing?
Shmuel, give it a swing.
Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh,
Nice.
are you asking
Bentzi,
for moving
do
on,
you-
or
you-
you-
I mean-
Yeah, whatever. We could move on.
I don't know. There's would've, should've, could've. Is borderline problematic in Jewish
You
law.
don't like hypothetical.
Mashiach comes.
If God wanted me to meet the guy, I'd meet him. If he doesn't want me to meet him,
if
it's
Mashiach, let me change it for you. Mashiach comes Mitzvah Hashem today, and everybody Tchias Mason is up and alive. Who are you running?
I love
to?
how you did that because like
That's
it's
great.
not a hypothetical.
That's
Who
great.
are
That's
you
great.
running to? First of all, hashtag lawyered. Move on. Yeah. Who are you running to?
I'm
Everyone's-
assuming
Okay,
you
that's a
everyone's
very
there.
good question. First person to say how did that go? You know, Tchias Mason. Do you remember things like how's that? You know, because officially, once Mashiach comes, you don't have there won't be Yetzer Hara. You won't have struggle. You know, so actually in Chabad philosophy, there's this idea where even after Mashiach comes, we're gonna really yearn back for the days of Golus, because then you had the ability of overcoming a challenge.
Right.
Once Mashiach comes, it's too late.
Okay.
You know, there's no struggle, and really, to be whole, you need to struggle a little. So just winning all the time is not so they're gonna yearn back because Golos does have something that Gula doesn't have. A lot of people don't talk about that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you still want people davening for.
Yeah. The truth is,
Or you also want people to chaparang.
yeah, chapadain. If you have a challenge, it's not forever. It's not permanent.
You really got out of that question very, very
Yeah.
nicely, though.
So I will go to the first person
Okay.
and just
The first person you see.
Yeah, for
Techiyas
sure.
Amesim, you said.
Yeah, for sure.
First resurrected. What is the worst advice you guys have ever received in your
To
life?
answer that question from you, worst advice? I'll let Bentzi go with that. I get all my advice from Bentzi, so I got to be careful with what I say.
Think about this one. Worst advice.
We asked the flip if you prefer to answer the flip of that, the best advice. Again, Shmuel, you can answer that also.
Best advice.
This
worst
isn't a
advice.
hypothetical. This is a real deal.
That's a very good question. It's usable. It's a usable thing. No, I'm being serious.
Sure.
That is a meaningful question.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
you don't like the other one.
As somebody, who would you
We
want
have
to
Big
meet?
Rabbanim on here. They answer these questions.
I think the worst advice, maybe this is not advice, but the worst sort of like information I was given or we were given was like, don't take things so seriously, just,
Jam, just jam. Just go
yeah,
with it.
just, or like struggling with an album, whatever. That attitude is not helpful. It's you could say it in a different way, like don't take it to heart if it doesn't go well. Don't sort of learn from your mistakes. I think people who kind of pushed, especially in the music industry, you can have that like just go with it, whatever. I don't think that's the right way to do it. That never worked. Never does work.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
I think I've asked all the questions I had in mind, but I want to say, like, I think I see you guys are big thinkers, and we covered a bunch of stuff here. Like, my hope is on your next album, there's something that was inspired from this conversation. Like, watch, Shmuel's gonna put out. It's like, don't ask dumb hypothetical questions. That was
Da,
really
da,
nice.
da, da, da.
But I hope there's something like that meaningful that came from this. That,
Sure.
That hope has a little spark in one of the next songs or something like that. But until then, people could buy your album.
Follow them on Instagram.
Follow you on Instagram, 8th Day,
My8thday.com.
my8thday.com.
My8thday.com. Check
Nice.
it out.
Guys.
Oh, I'm still on this with you
Well, oh my gosh, you're going back to that?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
about that question.
He answered.
Which question?
He said Techiyas Amesim, the hypothetical
Oh, the
one.
first guy?
Yeah.
Has to be more specific. Can't be random.
Have you ever heard of the Chassid Shmuel Munkis?
No.
No.
The Alter Rebbe had a Chassid Shmuel Munkis.
Yeah.
He's a great
Does
tzaddik,
say a lot about
but he was a
the
prankster.
person.
Interesting.
And
How do we know about him? It's like,
It's in the Hasidic
really?
storybooks. If you grew up Chabad, you'd hear about him.
Yeah.
He's
Nachi?
classic.
how do you know who he is?
I grew up in the Five Towns, like I said.
Shmuel
Anyways,
Munkis.
yeah, you gotta, I guess, Google him. I'm sure
Right.
there's got to be a Wikipedia on him. Anyways, so he was a big chassid Alter Rebbe. He was a tzaddik, but also like a prankster, funny guy. So his stories are funny, So when I was in third grade, I discovered that on the top of the test or whatever it is, it says shame with a line. You can really write whatever you want, So I wrote, instead of Shmuel Marcus, I wrote Shmuel Munkis. And that was like a big prank. And I followed that up with, when you go to Starbucks, you can ask for any name.
Yeah.
So I do Zusha Zimmerman, just in case he's there. That's Bob Dylan's Hebrew name.
Okay.
So in case, hey, Zusha Zimmerman, that's me. Just in case he's in there. But if I would go back, I would see Shmuel Munkis, ask him, how'd that go? He was like, Chassid Alter Rebbe.
There you go. You
Stop
asked
writing my
it.
name on tests.
There you go. You said it.
I would apologize for doing that. I'd apologize. Yeah, I
Wow.
apologize for using your name and spelling it wrong, probably.
Right. I like that. Well, Shmuel, Bentzi, thanks so much for.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
This was
Thank you,
awesome.
guys. This was fun.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
What's your favorite 8th Day song?
Yelly.
No, don't say that.
What? It is,
Come on,
though.
it's too classic.
It's and you know what? I have a love-hate relationship with it because I really like the song, but it's also I can't get it out of my head. It's one of those songs. It's better than those like
better than Jama.
Jama's just the word, so I'm fine with that. But there's little kid songs that Barry had a little like those things are like really annoying. At least with Yalili, like it's an actual good song.
I feel like they put Pomegranate on the map.
I think they did.
They were the first music video to go viral in the Jewish world.
They
Like,
totally are.
Everyone is just trying to catch up to Yalili. Well, everyone caught up at this point, but they were like the first.
Yeah, when you're the first of something, it's also like it's groundbreaking because no one really did it, and you look back and you're like, oh, it's so obvious, like Jewish music videos, but like that really wasn't a thing then.
It wasn't.
Like we had Uncle Maishi Pizza song, but like I don't know if that was like a music video.
My daughter listens to the Uncle Maishi Pizza song.
Does she listen to the Uncle Maishi episode of that? Number 2?
She did not.
Not
She
yet.
did not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, Uncle Milton. We'll get to you. But until then, go ahead and leave a review on this podcast. 5 stars only. If you try doing less, your phone will blow up. Don't try.
And get ready for next week. We won't say who, but we have a Rosh Hashiva in the house.
Yes.
Which is always very interesting for us to be able
And
to
this
sit
Rosh
down
Hashiva
with
probably has the most Sfarim of any rabbi in the world.
Good call.
The
Very
most
good call.
Sfarim. The most Sfarim.
He's a really good conversation. But until then, remember, you were born meaningful. Yeah? Yeah? No?
We're gonna try again.
I think that's gonna be the thing, to always like just test out new ones.
to always come up with cringe.
That's not
phrases.
cringe. That's not cringe. There have been more cringe ones than that.